Hey, welcome to Lesson 4 in the Diminished Magic series. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to play 5 very cool riffs built on the diminished scale. You can play any of these riffs with any 5-1 chord progression, like a dominant 7th chord going to a 1 chord. And the other thing about these riffs, because they're built on a diminished scale, they're very spider-like. You may have seen videos that talk about the spider exercises. They can be a little bit of a brain twister, some of them can, and these will be a little bit too, so you've got a little challenge ahead of you. Right now I'm going to go ahead and play these for you. After that we're going to break them down. I'm going to show you how to play each one of these riffs note for note. Then I'm going to show you how I came up with these and how you can create 5 or 10 more of your own pretty quickly and easily using the free scale builder tool at guitarcreative.com. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you where you can go and get free access to the background track used in this video. Well, let's get going here. Okay, here is riff number 1, note for note. There's one little slide in between the repeat of the pattern. Here's the pattern. That's the pattern. And when you finish the pattern, you slide down, and that becomes the first note of the repeat of the pattern, like this. I've added markers to the beginning of each one of these riffs, so you can go back and watch it again and again if you need to. Just select the marker that starts on this riff. Okay, here comes riff number 2. This riff is picked all the way until I get to the last note, and I just pulled off of it. Just the very last one, a little pull off. Here you go. Okay, here comes riff number 3. Actually, it's one of my favorites because it just uses major triads. And I'm going to explain that later as we get into how I created these riffs. But here you go. Note for note, riff number 3. You don't have to follow my slides up and down. I may never do it the same way twice, but it's whatever's convenient, whatever feels right to you. At different tempos, it feels different. So at the tempo I think it was earlier, that kind of thing. So as you can slide up, but here's this major triad repeated 3 frets up. It's a whole diminished thing. Okay, here comes riff number 4. This is riff number 5, and it's truly the spideriest of them all. Each grouping has a 3-fret spread, but we walk down the diminished scale just like this. So here's the riff. Okay, so how did I come up with these riffs? I'm about to show you that, and I'm going to explain to you how you can come up with riffs of your own pretty quickly and easily. So here we go. Let's go to guitarcreative.com, over to Tools, and Scale Builder. When you get there, let's set this to G octatonic, which is half whole diminished, and click Set Fretboard Scale. First of all, what is a diminished scale? Is nothing but a sequence of 1 fret, then 2 frets, then 1 fret, then 2 frets, which in musical terms is half step, whole step, half step, whole step. If you look at the diminished scale in this diagram, you'll see we have between G and the A flat here, that's a half step or a 1 fret. Then we go to 2 frets, then 1 fret, then 2 frets. It just repeats like that. And because of that, it creates some really interesting patterns. So why did I choose the G octatonic or the half whole diminished scale? Here's why. Because in this chord progression, we're using a G7 going to the C. In the G octatonic scale, we have the G7 chord. That's G, B, D, F. And those 4 notes make up the G7 chord. But we also have G, an E, a D, and a B, all of which are really nice landing notes when we get to the C chord. You can take this G, B, D, and F and end on any of these notes. That's the E and the G and the B and the D. In addition to that, though, it contains 3 other notes that work really well to spice up your solos. The flatted 5, the 9th that's lowered, and the 9th that's raised. In the G7 chord, the A is the 9. Well, you have an A flat and you have a B flat. And that's a real typical sort of spicy couple of notes that you can use as you're going from a dominant 7th chord to a 1 chord. You'll hear it all the time. Say we have this G7. That's those B flat, A flat, and the G moving into the C chord. You'll hear it in chords. That sound is the 9 being altered, either raised or lowered. This scale gives us all of the notes that we need to make that a really smooth transition. But on top of that, you have a really great structure to pull repeating patterns. I'm going to show you how I came up with the first riff in this lesson, and then you'll be able to create your own. In the first riff, you remember it was this. I'm starting on the G, and I'm moving up 1 fret, and then I'm going across the string. I can actually repeat this pattern 3 frets higher. See, I started on this G. Well, if I go up here, I can repeat it here too. But instead of doing that, in the riff that I came up with, I moved and started here, which is the same note just across on the 4th string. So that made it really easy to transition smoothly into the new position. And then I just did it again here. And then again here. And you remember this G is a nice landing note for the 1 chord, the C chord. So that's basically the riff. And we just incorporated some slides to give it some phrasing, to make it sound a little more musical. I'm going to focus in on one area of the neck. Let's look for some patterns in here. Let's start with this. We have a B flat D and a G. Then it looks like it repeats again up here. And then we have this. So if we play along with this 5-1 chord progression, so that works pretty good. I mean, you can come up with some things. Anything that you like the way it sounds. The other thing that is going to come with this download I'm about to tell you about is a little chart that shows what the chords I was using on that background track are. If you heard things like, all of those chords are going to be on that chart. and you can see exactly how to play them. It has the tablature for them and the notation. So I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. The link to get your PDF as well as the background tracks is down in the description. As always, thanks a lot for watching. If you like what you're getting here, I'd really appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Click the like button, and by all means, please leave some comments. Your comments are what helps me to know what you want and what I can do to make it better. See you in the next lesson. Thanks.